Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. And so welcome to a really late July wrap-up. So I broke another laptop, another one. It's getting to the point where like the man in the shop knows my name. He knows the previous two makes of laptop that I bought, and he laughed at me. I mean, really? So I had to buy a new laptop. And you're only seeing this now that I actually have bought one. But I mean, why am I such a fuckwit? I'm so clumsy. I'm just the worst. So, I mean, if I ever disappear for like an extended period of time, just know that I've not died or anything, I've just broken my laptop. Anyway, enough of the rambling. You're here for a wrap-up. These are the things that I read in July. So July had me start off with the Final Bibliothon, and I kind of sucked at this readathon. I had it all planned out, and I thought it was going to go really well, and then I was doing the video challenges and everything, which are really fantastic. I really enjoy doing the video challenges, but they do take a little bit of time out of you, even just the remembering to post them and then doing all of like the background stuff. It's just exhausting. So I did not complete all the reading challenges. I actually managed 5 of the reading challenges, and that was with like 2 that I sort of shoehorned in there at the end. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. So the first book that I actually read for the Final Bibliothon was the book that you sort of just got to pick on your own anyway. That was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. Yeah, finally read it. Finally went there, didn't I? Finally did it. ACOTAR is a Beauty and the Beast retelling that sort of merges into a fae world about a young woman who kills a beast, and then she sort of gets punished and has to go and live in the realms of the fae. And I have thoughts about this book, right? Because the whole Beauty and the Beast thing, and just Tamlin and his spring court in general, they were never really going to appeal to me because, I mean, well, Beauty and the Beast would, but like the spring court was never really going to be my bag. However, I will say that this book got so much better when it veered away from the Beauty and the Beast retelling. So much better. I enjoyed it way more. I was like, this book's a bit... And I got to a bit where it basically veered off from the Beauty and the Beast thing, and I was like, oh my god, this is way more interesting. And oh, go figure, Rhysand came into it. I mean, we all knew I was going to be Rhysand trash. Nobody told me this, but like, y'all should have done, because I mean, have you met me? Trash. I was a goner from the beginning. I was never ever going to make it through this. So, yeah, trash. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I did. Like, it's got problems, and there were aspects of it that I didn't really like, but in general, it was really, I really enjoyed it, so I guess I'm Sarah J Maas trash now. Alright then. So I think from that point on, I was like, oh, fae. I really like fae. I really like dark fae, so I'll read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I really enjoyed this one as well. Now, honestly, I didn't know that this book was going to be like it was. Because I feel like when people talk about The Cruel Prince, they're always like, ooh, I love Cardan, and I really love Jude, and their relationship is so, like, awesome. And I'm like, but this book doesn't focus on that at all. Like, there are bits here and there, which I'm like, okay, cool. But this book is not about that. This book is about, like, fae politics and interesting things like that, and you know, being strong and trying to live in the world that you want to live in. And there are so many interesting characters and so many things that go on, and I just really enjoyed it, but I had no idea that that's what it was about. Like, I enjoyed it for reasons that I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, because I thought I was going to be like, ooh, dark fae romance, yes! And no, that wasn't, like, I mean, there's a bit of a romantic element, but not really. Like, I didn't really, that's not what appealed to me out of this book. So I really enjoyed this one, but it wasn't for the reasons that I thought, so I think it ended up as a 4-star for me, but it was just a very confused 4-star. So yeah, if you like fae politics, more than fae romance, cause I think there will be fae romance, because it's like hinted at, but like, I like a bit of fae politics, that's my thing, I really love it. So after those 2 books, which I really enjoyed and was really in the mood for, came the downfall of my Final Bibliothon. And that was because I decided to read The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and I did not like it. And I'm sorry, I know so many of you did, but for me, it was so depressing. I personally couldn't connect with the main character, with the writing style, and I know it did evolve as it went on, but like, every single character had something horrific happen to them, and then it just seemed to get worse and worse. And I got to like 45% through this book, and I went, I don't want to read this anymore. I just really don't. In all fairness to it, I gave it a chance. I looked up what happened next, and it just got more depressing, and I couldn't do it. Maybe if I read it when I was younger. Maybe if some of the issues were developed a little bit more, there was a reason for any of them to happen. There didn't seem to be a reason for anything. It just seemed to be like, well, this person hasn't had something horrible happen to them yet. I don't know, punch them. So I didn't connect with it, and I'm so sorry, but like, perhaps this just doesn't reach something in me that it has done for so many other people. And if you do enjoy this book, all the more power to you. For me personally, I found it too depressing, and it was bringing me down reading it, so I didn't really want to do that, so I DNF'd. Now the problem I had there was that book covered 2 of my biannual Bibliothon challenges, and I had to find some fillers, and this is just why it failed. So I decided to read Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. It's the only one in the series that I like that I haven't read yet this year, and I was like, I'm gonna feel some Jack and Jill stuff, so you know, I did. So I decided to listen to Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is the sequel to Every Heart a Doorway, the first book in the Wayward Children series. So the first book is about children who go into portal worlds and then are rejected or come out of them and are struggling to cope in the real world. Down Among the Sticks and Bones follows Jack and Jill, 2 characters, as they go on their journey into their portal world. And it's really interesting and it's really great. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more the second time around than I did the first time, and I'm really hoping they come back as characters. I think they're really interesting, so we'll see. And after that, I picked up a graphic novel that I've been looking to pick up for ages, and that is Chu Volume 2. This graphic novel follows Tony Chu, who is a cyberpath, which means that he can sort of see the history of anything he eats, and it's really interesting. This went really weird. Overall, this is a really interesting series, and I really want to pick up more of it, but I think it's a really interesting continuation of the series, and I definitely pick it up if you're interested in a slightly gross graphic novel, then you should definitely check this one out because it's a lot of fun. So I think those books covered all of the ones that I read in the biannual Bibliothon. So I finally got around to reading Boruto Volume 4 and Boruto Volume 5. They're the right way around? Yes, they are. This is a continuation in the series. It follows Naruto and Ko's children, and I'm not really going to tell you what this is about too much because they're kind of episodic. They're just, you know, fun. They're a lot of fun. They were good. I enjoyed them. It was a lot of fun. I'm definitely intrigued to read Naruto because I feel like I might like that one more. We'll see. Now we have the book that I read this month that is least like me, and that is Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. So this book follows a guy who has seen a wanted ad in the paper that just says seeking a pupil and, you know, must have an honest desire to save the world. So he, you know, goes to check out the ad, turns up to this building, and he's confronted by a giant gorilla called Ishmael. And they proceed to have a long telepathic conversation about the world and understanding different things about it. And I didn't think I was going to enjoy this. This was lent to me by my friend, and it sounded interesting, but I was like, oh, this isn't really my thing, and I don't really know how I'm going to feel about it. But it was actually really moving, and like by the end of it, I was like, whoa, okay then. And then I felt really sad because I was like, oh no, humans are awful. Because we suck. But yeah, I enjoyed this book, and if you're interested in something a little bit deeper and sort of philosophically contemporary, I guess, then this is something you should probably check out. And if you don't mind the idea of telepathic gorillas as well, you have to be open to that. Alright. Let's get this over with now. I read Breaking Dawn. Yeah. And I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it's pure nostalgia, obviously. Like, I'm not claiming it's any good. There is a part of me that just remembers when I was a teenage girl and I was reading this, and I really just, Twilight was one of my weird obsessions as a teenager, and I remember it and I feel that. So whenever I read these books, I sort of like hate myself a little bit, but also I'm like, oh, Twilight, yeah, I remember those days. So yeah, I mean, if you've seen any of my Reading Rush vlogs, then you'll know that I was just like loving life in nostalgia lane. So yeah, my only complaint with this is if you've read this book, all the other vampires, the people that they sort of invite, I didn't know they came in so late. I was like, yeah, that's the bit I remember about this book, and I remember really like enjoying that because I found it really interesting, you know, not the characters that we were used to. But they come into it really late, and it was just a bit disappointing. I was like, oh, is that it? Is that it? But anyway, as I said, this is not literary genius. This is some pure nostalgic trash, and I stand by that. But I did have a good time reading it, so. Anyone remember me talking about how trash I am like 2 seconds ago? I read Shadow and Bone again. I know I'm terrible. I need to stop. Someone needs to take these books away from me. I genuinely have a problem, and his name is the Darkling. I have a problem. Maybe I should go to the self-help class. Like, instead of, maybe I should be in Stalkers Anonymous. Oh my god. Anyway, I love Shadow and Bone. First book in the Grish trilogy. I love the Darkling. The only difference between this and the other 2 times I read it is that I actually listened to it this time, and I picked up on some things that I didn't pick up on the first 2 times I read it, which is weird. Like, perhaps my auditory senses are different to my visual ones in the things that I can pick out. Perhaps it was the way that the narrator emphasized certain things, but you know what? I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed it. And I love the Darkling, and I'm gonna put this down now before you all crucify me for reading this again. I'll try not to read it again this year. No promises. So I was supposed to read A Court of Mist and Fury for Reading Rush, but after reading a 750-page book, I could not handle a 650-page one. I just couldn't do it. It was too much for me, and you know, I'm not ashamed to admit that I adjusted my TBR appropriately. So I picked out Tomorrow When the War Began by John Marsden. This is the first book in the Tomorrow series, I think it's called Tomorrow, and it's basically about a group of teenagers in Australia and some people invade. So they were out on a camping trip, so they were just sort of like away from everything, and then when they return, they go back to one of the houses, notice that there's nobody around, that all of their pets have like died. And honestly, that was the thing that got to me the most. I was like, oh my god, the dogs, the cats. I was like, oh my god, these poor animals. I like, honestly, don't kill animals in things. I hate it when people kill animals in things. Why? Why would you do that? Why? It's sort of about them deciding whether they want to fight back. They don't want to be caught by these people, and sort of trying to understand what they can do and what's within their power to do. Now, the interesting thing for me with this is that I tried to read it, but I just didn't get along with the style of the writing, and I think it was to do with like short sentences. Yeah, I had to listen to it, and it was very good when I listened to it. I'm definitely going to be picking up more of this, and I liked where it went. I like how badass these teenagers were. I mean, maybe not completely realistic, but like, I liked it, and I'm definitely going to be watching the film for this one because I enjoyed it so much. The last book that I read in July was another manga because I had to get up that 7-book goal for Reading Rush, and I decided to read One Punch Man Volume 5, and I think this was my favourite volume to date. I honestly love this section of the anime, and I love this section of the manga because it's just done so well. Everything with like is he called the Sea King or like the Underwater King or something? Whatever his name is, that big monster. That whole section is just like perfection. I love it so much. Please definitely check this one out. I'm not going to tell you much more about it. It's a spoof on superheroes, and it's just really, really funny and really, really well done. Anyway, so those are the books that I read in July. I actually spent the beginning like 10 days of July not reading anything at all, so I mean, it's a miracle that I read so many things, because honestly, I didn't think I would. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!